All right. All right, and I see some people that a note that feeds have shut down. And like I said, the plan, record all of these. Let me confirm yes, I am recording all classes. That's why it's kind of nice to break them up into thirds. I have an hour-long kids class and then 2 45-minute adult offerings. Those are manageable in terms of times to upload. So you're very welcome. And what somebody told me is that if you are stuck at home, if you have a LAN cable and if you can plug in, jack what your computer in. I'm on a laptop right now, that they have way better results and luck with Zoom. I am very lucky because my Wi-Fi at home, it seems to work 9 times out of 10, but it's some advice that somebody gave me. If you have a LAN cable and you can jack into your router at home, you might get a cleaner signal. But again, this will be uploaded for you. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we always bow in and we acknowledge all the martial arts from all across the world, no matter what art I'm teaching, and it's the same salutation you might have seen at the end of the kids class. So right hand makes a fist, left hand goes over it. This is abbreviated Chinese. Right hand goes up to your third eye, left hand over your heart, abbreviated Filipino. Thai, we do the Y, which is right here. From the Y position, your left hand makes a table for your right hand. This is abbreviated Indonesian. You can just drop your left hand, make a fist with your right hand, tap your chest, go palm down to your right side. That's for Savat and Dog Brothers. And then Japanese, keep your eyes up. We just give a little bow like that. So I've already talked at length, and I want to balance my chatter, my instructor chatter with some physical training. Some of my long-term students who have trained with me are on here. At heart, I'm an educator, and my students know this about me. I teach every class, and I'm never being morbid when I say this. I teach every class like it's going to be my last. Usually when things are up and running, I'll say, I teach every class like after the class is over, I'm going to get hit by a bus. I'm not being morbid. I don't believe that's going to happen. But the reason I say it that way, I don't believe in holding anything back. And I have at this point 24 years total martial arts training, the last 17 in a row being in the lineage that I'm involved with. I'm always it's like, take the information. So sometimes I struggle balancing my chatter with physical training. And just know that if I'm talking a lot, it's only because I want you I want you flexible and strong and with a lot of endurance, but I also want you educated and smart. And I think the cultural and historical origins are really, really important as well. So 2 more minutes of intro, and then we're going to be moving. This gentleman in the poster behind me over here, his name is Guro Inosanto. Most people who aren't directly involved with the lineage usually refer to him as the best friend and training partner of Bruce Lee, and then the inheritor of Jeet Kune Do and Jun Fan Gung Fu when Lee passed away in 1973. Guro Dan is so much more than that and is so responsible for the state of contemporary martial arts and all the systems and all the styles that we train today. So we're going to start with Maphilindo Silat. And Maphilindo is Malaysian, Filipino, Indonesian. Maphilindo. Guro Dan did what he always does. He studied from as many different Silat people as possible. And then he took the pieces that uniquely fit him and kind of put together his own training progression. So we're going to start on the floor. And admittedly, I am on some mats. gonna raise this up just a little bit. I'm on some mats that I rescued from one of my martial arts academies where the lease was over anyways. We were getting ready to move into a larger space. We're waiting until the world normalizes. So I moved a bunch of gear into my little apartment. Okay, so I'm sitting on these really nice martial arts mats. I don't know what you all have or what kind of surface you're training on. I'll say this, your knees and your overall health of your body is more important than Silat. So please don't adopt that like archaic martial arts attitude, you know, if you're on a hardwood floor, oh, I got a hardcore and I got to do this because this is martial arts, even if I tear up my knees. That's the wrong attitude because we want to do this for our whole life, okay? So in Maphilindo, Silat, there are two, and now we're talking about what I call the ground domain, and I'll explain that to you before we've wrapped up this section. There are two primary postures, just like holding your Baizhong stance in Jeet Kune Do. They are postures of momentary transition, but we train them frozen so that you can learn them. So everybody training with me at home, take your left foot, and this is my left foot, and post it on the ground. Bend your right leg so the outside of your right leg is on the ground. Post your right hand and guard your face with your left hand. So this is called the high sawa or the high cobra position. And if you have any kind of a yoga background, you're going to be seeing lots of postures that you're already familiar with. We have one major switch to go to the other side for the high sawa, which is called the seaweed. And that's the first thing I'd like you to play with. All I do is basically redistribute my weight on my rear end to the other side of my body, and I exchange my feet. So we started left foot posted, right leg bent, left hand guarding your face, right hand posted. All I do is rotate to my left and exchange my feet. So my right foot is posted, my left leg is bent, the outside is on the ground, I'm guarding my face with my right hand, and my left hand is posted. Switch. Switch. Okay, so this is called the seaweed, just like seaweed under the ocean current. All of these have difficult to pronounce Southeast Asian names in reality. Guru Dan just gave these all easy to remember American English names. Okay, so we're gonna do some reps together. So everybody start left foot posted, right leg bent, right foot posted, left hand guarding your face. Okay, so ready, 1, 2, nice, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Beautiful job. Okay, and 6, for our purposes for right now, until we really get going, 6 will kind of be the magic number. So you should be back where you started, left foot posted, right leg bent, right hand posted, left hand guarding your face. Take your left leg and bend it behind you. Bring your right foot in just a little bit. Hands basically stay the same. So this is the low sawa or the low cobra position. And now we're going to have 2 switches for this posture for the first level of my curriculum. So the seat spin. Again, you're seated on, or your weight is on your rear end. Your feet are going to spin in front of you, and you're going to change sides. So once again, if I do it in slow motion, it's really awkward and terrible. But what's really happening is just feet are going out in front of me and then swiveling back to the other side. But if you do it slowly, it's way harder. But I just wanted to break that down for you so that you could kind of understand the motion. But everybody who's got their video turned on, you look like you were doing it properly. So again, you're on your rear end, feet swing out in front of you, and that allows you to change sides and change your hands. There we go. So that's the first change in my curriculum for the low sawa. Remember, this was the high sawa, and we were using the seaweed switch. Then we transition to the low sawa. Okay, so let's kind of I see some other people coming in, and which is totally fine. Let's get everybody on the same page, and let's try some reps of this. Okay, so left leg is bent behind you, right leg is bent in front of you, right hand is posted, left hand is guarding your face. When I say go, put your weight on your rear end, swing your legs in front of you, change your hands and change sides. Ready, go. Nice. All right, so that'll be rep 1. Let's do 6 together, nice and slowly. And I can see, again, some of you are training on hardwood floors, which is totally fine. Protect your knees. Don't go too fast. I don't want you to get injured. Your health and the health of your knees and your longevity is more important than Silat. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Nice job. All right. Now, next one, and for those of you on hardwood floors, this might be a little rough, and I'm going to have you make the determination if you want to do it. The windshield wiper. So I'm going to push my weight up. My feet are going to switch under my butt. I push my weight up. My feet switch underneath my rear end. Okay. I'll count. Yeah, good. I see some of you doing this nice and slow, guarding the healthier knees. That's great. Okay. I'm going to count 6 reps. That way it's on camera, because again, this class is going to be uploaded. In the future, if you have a yoga mat or a towel or a carpet or anything you want to lay down, that might be great. But for right now, you don't need to go grab something like that. Again, you make the determination if you want to do like 1 out of the 6 reps. I don't want anybody to hurt their knees. So that's windshield wiper. Ready? 1. Good. 2. 3. 4. 5. And 6. Good. Okay, relax the body. Just relax for a second. So again, the high sawa, we just had the windshield wiper. That is, I'm sorry, the seaweed. Excuse me, seaweed. Okay, that's really the only switch in the curriculum for the high cobra or the high sawa. When we transition to the low cobra or the low sawa, we have the seat spin. This is the seat spin. And then we had the one that we were just doing, the windshield wiper. Okay. In the Maphilindo curriculum, again from Guro Dan Inosanto, when I teach it as part of my Silat core curriculum, I have 2 terms that I've differentiated, and you won't hear these at the Inosanto Academy. I say the ground domain versus the stand-up domain. Now, when I say the ground domain, yes, of course, fighting on the ground, whether fully seated or whether with 1 foot posted or kneeling, but there's also curriculum, and we're going to start learning some of it together right now. I want you to imagine 4 modalities. imagine that I had a partner and he or she was also on the ground and we were, you know, playing, staying on the ground and light sparring or relating to each other, sort of like that, okay? So that would be ground versus ground. Then you could have, if my partner is on the ground, I know you can't see the mats right now, but it's fine. If I'm the stand-up player and I'm relating down towards the ground-based player, you have ground versus ground, and you have stand-up versus ground. Then, if my partner who was on the ground stood up and I came back down to the ground and I started playing up towards the stand-up person, that would be ground versus stand-up. The fourth modality would be maybe we both start ground-based, but we have the ability to change elevations whenever we want. So ground versus ground, stand-up versus ground. You're the stand-up player against the person who's on the ground. Ground versus stand-up, you're the grounded player versus the stand-up player. And then freelance. You can change elevations at will. Those are the four modalities of play that we build towards in the Maphilindo Silat curriculum. All of those I teach as part of what I call the ground domain. The ground, all of that is, even though you have the roles where you will occasionally be the stand-up player, it's all part of that kind of modality of super light, super safe, freelance sparring, and I call all of that material the ground domain. Then the stand-up domain is going to be separate, okay? So for this class today, I am primarily going to stay in the ground domain because I'm pretty much by myself today, which is fine. But we're going to learn some of the stand-up components regardless. Now, let's everybody get back to a low sawa with their left leg back. This is my left leg, and their right leg in front of them. Right hand posted, left hand guarding your face. Now, as I'm relating to you on the camera on my laptop, if I had somebody roughly the same height, we're going to learn 3 offensive tools at this level. The first one is the ground-based roundhouse kick. So if somebody's head were right here, okay, I would be kicking them with my left foot this direction from my perspective. Based on what I'm seeing in the camera or in the images, most of you would be kicking me, boom, this direction with your left foot. So the first technique, come up a little bit, post your hands, roundhouse kick through, keep that foot on the ground and just slide it back. Nice job. Everybody looks really good, okay? So let's just do 3 of those together. Again, whatever speed, whatever power, make sure you stay healthy. Don't worry about going hard. Everybody looks really good. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good job. Use your seat spin. Change sides. Fantastic. Everybody looks really good. And now you're going with your right leg. For most of you, it looks like you'd be kicking me. Again, visualization, like you'd be kicking me in the face with your right roundhouse kick going this way. So let's do the same thing. Ready? 1. Good. 2. And 3. Beautiful job. Change sides. Okay. Next technique. Post your hands arm this left foot, thrust the side kick, return to your low sawa. So and I can see some of the people who are in here, and I know you do, if you have any martial arts experience where you've done roundhouse kicking or side kicking, it's the same techniques, we just happen to be on the ground. So we're chambering, thrusting that side kick, and then returning to our low sawa, okay? 1. Nice. 2. And 3. Change sides. Good. 1. 2. And 3. Fantastic. Change sides again. All right. And that one, everybody looked really sharp. There, the heel's just coming up. You're arming it, thrusting the heel directly into the face of the person. That was beautiful. Third and final offensive tool as we start to develop our vocabulary being the ground-based player, the sickle kick. So if you have any experience in any martial art where you've done a heel hook kick, this is basically a ground-based heel hook kick. I come up, I bring my foot over, and I hit you that direction with my heel. So most of you would be arming and then hitting back. Beautiful job. Yes. Striking back, I believe it's this way for most of you, but you're slapping back with your heel. It's a ground-based heel hook kick. We call this the sickle kick, okay? So let's do 3 together. Ready? 1. Nice. 2. 3. Change sides. Fantastic. 1. 2. And 3. Good. Relax the body. Excellent. Nice job. All right. So we're definitely still in Maphilindo. Again, Maphilindo Silat, coming from Guru Dan Inosanto, makes up about 85% of what I call my my Silat core curriculum. And we're still in the ground domain where we're really going to spend most of our time this week. Next week, we'll start looking at some basics in the stand-up domain, which would kind of be the other areas of the curriculum. Now, that being said, even though we're in the ground domain, let's start developing some tools for when, in that context of play, Silat style play, we are the stand-up person relating to the ground-based player. That is really something that Silat is known for, is the ability to change elevations, to fight on the ground, to fight kneeling, to fight squatting, and then to fight at full elevation. All right, and modern times, and I think it's always important to consider things, you know, in multiple standpoints. Where a lot of this material might come into play is if you got in a fight in an area that was carpeted. I know that sounds silly, but these are some considerations. Or if you got in a fight outdoors, like, you know, on the earth, like in a park, an area that's not paved. A lot of this material is incredibly valid if somebody got the jump on you and pushed you and you lost your balance and you ended up on the ground. You know, is where a lot of this material comes alive. And I will do one class. I have something called lens theory, which is something that I've developed, which is a really logical, healthy way of categorizing everything that you learn in the martial arts. and being really comfortable, not in like a hippy dippy way, but in a real logic-based way, that everything you learn in the martial arts has a place. And we'll talk about lens theory some other time. So let's make our way to standing. Everybody make your way to standing up. And even though you're standing, and you're all doing a beautiful job, for those of you that have your video turned on, you look fantastic. Even though you're standing, keep standing. I'm just going to show you something on the ground so that you understand why we're doing what we're doing. Okay, so again, please keep standing, stay comfortable. This will only take a few moments. So I will talk about traditional Silat versus Maphilindo, and Maphilindo is what I like to call application-based Silat. In a lot of Silat systems, you'll hear the term Lanka, and Lanka is the ground-based material, the geometric patterns on the ground. In Maphilindo, we use the term Guyung, G-U-Y-U-N-G, Guyung, and it really sort of means the same thing. Right now, we're all going to learn Guyungs 1 through 3 from the Maphilindo curriculum. There's only 7 of them, and 7 is modified because in all of my time in this lineage, 17 years now, I've only seen one person who could do the original number 7 well. It was not me. So we do a modified version of it. But this on the ground, this is Guyung 1. It's the attack T. So what I'll do, I know the camera is down on the ground. Let me get these focus nets out of the way. My feet, just making sure my feet are in frame. My feet start neutral. There's no lead. So that would be the equivalent of this soft stick here. And what's going on with Guyung 1 is I'm stepping in down the line of this stick. So we call this the offensive or the attack T. So let me, and I'll keep, everybody just bear with me. Again, I'm on my laptop. This is not a movie studio, but that's kind of what we need to do in terms of production, so you can see the geometrical figures. All you're doing here, hands stay up. They can be open, they can be closed, whatever you're comfortable with. Stepping in, and then coming back. Other leg, stepping in, and then coming back. When I come back, I'm not in a lead. Remember that back stick. I'm in a neutral posture. Okay? So, in, back. In, back. Where we want to be is we would just want to keep doing this as a step. And if you're looking at me and you're wondering, why is he touching his knees? Any stylization or over-stylization in Silat probably comes from the Indonesian tradition. The Indonesians were colonized by the Dutch, and they had to hide their art upon penalty of death, literally, if they were found practicing by the Dutch colonists. So a lot of their Silat, relax for a second, everybody looks great. A lot of their Silat was highly stylized, to the point that there's a martial arts historian named Don Draeger who completely was fooled by the Silat people, and he wrote up Silat as a quaint martial dance because he didn't understand how deadly what he was seeing was, because the Indonesians had so effectively flowered up. The Silat is a wartime martial art. It breaks, it stabs, it smashes. It's not martial athletics. But if you're doing it in the Indonesian tradition, there's a lot of stylization that might be misinterpreted as it being softer than it is, okay? So that's why when I touch my knees, That's more in the Indonesian tradition. If you just want to step, now I'm not really lifting my feet off the ground, that would be completely acceptable as well, okay? There's a lot of Jeet Kune Do philosophy in the arts of Guru Dan. And some of the people that are on here are aware of what I'm talking about, some are not. In the Jeet Kune Do community, we get into conflicts about what Bruce Lee meant and what is not a Jeet Kune Do and blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of things in the Inosanto tradition where when you're learning it, you might be tempted to be like, is this right? And you would never get a direct yes or no. We would probably ask you, does it feel comfortable? Do you have structure and do you have control over your movements? If the answer is yes, then it's good, because there's a lot of personalization going on in the Inosanto lineage, okay? All right, anyways, Guyang 2, everybody. So I know, yeah, there we go. It's the reverse of what you just learned. So it's the retreating or the defensive T. So I'm going back. I'm going back. So instead of going to the front, I step back. Okay, so the defensive T, beautiful, everybody looks good. Guyang 2, the defensive T. And Guyang 2, in my experience, is going to be one of the most important Gayangs for foundational skill development when you're in the stand-up mode in the ground domain. Keep that going. Just checking how much time I have. I have about 10 minutes. Beautiful. Okay, so that's Guyang 2. You could, if you don't want to do the stylization, you could just step back. Okay? I know the sticks are expressed as true perpendicular lines, and you start getting some curvature here. I'll share the following with you, and I'll review all this for you, everybody. If I do this is more the Jenga from Capoeira, okay, which is a Brazilian martial art. And now I'm not so much, let me get my feet in the shot. I'm not so much coming back to center line as I am just sort of stepping back, but they're so close. At the Inosanto Academy, a lot of the senior guys would have some credentials in Capoeira. Unfortunately, and Guru Dan has said this many times, I'm hard-pressed to think of two martial arts communities that like to be compared to one another less than the Silat and the Capoeira community. But what's so unfortunate about that, when you get into the advanced ground play of Silat, it looks exactly like Capoeira. Like if you have Capoeira, it's going to help you so much. Like one of my training partners that's recorded some of my curriculum with me has no Silat background, but he did like 5 years of Capoeira. So when we recorded the ground play, he looked awesome. He looked like a Silat practitioner because there's so much crossover. But anyways, so let's review, everybody. Guyang 1 is the attack T, going forward. You can touch your knees or you can just step in. Either are appropriate. Okay, there's a lot of freedom in this system. Okay, very nice. Guyang 2 is the defensive T, going the same pattern basically, but going backwards. Or I can do it without touching my knee, or I can do it if I start really bringing this arm up, then it becomes more like the Jenga from Capoeira. All of those are acceptable. All of those are acceptable. Okay, very nice. Everybody looks great. Guyang 3, and this is going to be the last one we're going to take today. Stick over here. If you have a Filipino martial arts background, you probably know this as the female triangle. So my feet are together. My feet meet, and I do a foot exchange. Stepping out with my right, stepping out with my left, stepping out with my right, stepping out with my left. That's it. Very simple. Okay, and some points for you, some ideas. And here's where I already get to use one of my favorite expressions in martial arts. Guyang 3, one of the only things that's hard about it is how many options and how much freedom you have. Okay, so here's what I mean by that. I need to Velcro these together, everybody, and I'm sorry I haven't done that. If you're like, why does he keep going to the side? Is because my center of my shot right now, I haven't really Velcroed these mats together, so bear with me. I'll do that before the next class. But what I was saying, Guyang 3, you could step out square. See, I'm square. I'm keeping my hands even. My shoulders are even. That would be completely acceptable. Or when you step out, you could drop the same side hand as the shoulder that's stepping out, and you could check with your other hand. So if I'm stepping out with my left, I drop my left hand and I cover with my right. If I'm stepping out with my right, I drop my right hand and I cover with my left. You could also step out with the same side shoulder and give this, sometimes we call this the salute, like give this elbow. That would also be appropriate. Or you could step out and lead with the opposite side elbow of the leg that stepped out. So this is my left leg, and I lead with my right shoulder. When I switch, this is my right foot, I lead with my left shoulder. All of those are completely acceptable, right? Square, square, same side shoulder, that hand drops. The other side covers, right? Same side shoulder, maybe the salute elbow or the rising vertical elbow. That would be appropriate. Or opposite side elbow, leans. All of those are options. But what I'm seeing everybody doing who's got their video turned on, which is not a requirement, I get it. I see everybody moving. And that's the whole point, is that we have a movement generator. We're preparing the body for movement. So very quickly, let's just review all of these again. And we're probably going to be bordering on needing to transition into Filipino martial arts. So Guyang 1, attack T. Right? Stepping forward. Just keep your hands up. Fists, open hands. Just don't do this. This is when you'll get knocked out, but hands up. Okay, that's Guyang 1. Guyang 2, backwards or retreating. Touch your knee or keep your foot low to the floor, or start to do it more like the Jenga. All of those are appropriate, okay, for Guyang 2. Guyang 3, female triangle. We call it the female triangle in the Filipino martial arts. Right? Step out with the right, replace the foot, switch. Replace the foot, switch. And then you have all those variations for playing. Okay? So I have about 3 minutes. As much as possible, I try to stick to the timelines. Does anybody have any questions about anything that we did? You can unmute yourself. You can type it in the chat. Everybody good? So, okay. So again, we started on the ground. Low sawa, or excuse me, high sawa or high cobra, we had the windshield wiper. Low sawa or low cobra, we had the seat spin, I'm so sorry, I used the wrong term. Let me start over again. High Sawa, we had the seaweed. I don't know why I want to keep using the wrong term today. Low Sawa, we had the seat spin and the windshield wiper. Offense on the ground, we explored roundhouse kicks, side kicks, and the sickle kick. Then we stood up and we were still in the ground domain. We started developing our skills to be able to be the stand-up player versus the ground-based player. We had Gayung 1 is the attack T, Gayung 2 is the retreating T, and Gayung 3, in FMA circles, we call that the female triangle. So that's what we got done in this class. I want to thank you very much for joining me for the first, again, this is going to be weekly. I'm going to keep saying the same thing. These classes are going to be weekly and they're going to remain free. There is no baiting and switching. This is not a teleseminar. Down the line, I do have an online portal that has most all of the curriculum on video. There is a charge for that if you'd like to start earning. It's a very small monthly charge. If you'd like to start earning some rank at home, you do need a membership in that, but that is not a requirement. This video will get uploaded to my YouTube channel. I will share those links later on my Facebook page. At a bare minimum, make sure that you are that you've subscribed to my Facebook page, because if you miss a class, I'm going to be uploading these every single week. Okay, so let's for those that took the Silat class, let's bow this out real quickly. For those that are joining us for the Filipino martial arts, you can just wait a second, and because we're going to redo this when we start the FMA. So Chinese, Filipino, Thai, Indonesian, left hand makes a table for the right hand. French and Dog Brothers, that's my right hand. And then Japanese. Thanks everybody for joining me for Silat. I'm going to kill this recording.